All right, Shalom. Make sure we got sound. Bear with me. And make sure I got sound. Let's see. Okay, boom, we good to go. All right. So Shalom, Akim. Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Before I get started, I give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and the only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Next double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what people hear or what they forbear. So this is going to be a quick lesson. Okay, how righteous I mean the Heavenly Father's will. All right, just still reporting on what's going on over there in the land of Israel right now against the Iranians, okay, between the two. If you have not heard, I believe it was last night or yesterday, sometime yesterday, that the Israelis shot missiles over at Iran at the city of Tehran, okay, and destroyed much of the city and killed a lot of high-level officials of the Iranians. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. After the brother GMS Chosen Vessel 144. Shalom out. So I just want to do a quick reporting on that, though, okay? That that's what's going on. And of course, we're always watching these things. All right, looking for different escalations that go on in the so-called Middle East, because we know that according to biblical prophecy, that the war is going to pretty much spark, all right, from that area. Okay, and saying once again, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah to the brother Imrayah out of San Antonio. Shalom. So I got a quick video I'm going to play real fast. It's about 5 minutes long. And it's from the brother GMS Awakening. Okay. And he just pretty much reposted a news video on what the situation is going on over there. So like I said, Israelis shot missiles over there in Iran, killed some high-level officials. And now Iran is shooting missiles back at Tel Aviv. Okay. And also just got recent news reporting that the United States and also, I believe, Jordan has joined in to block some of the missiles that have been shot off at Tel Aviv. So let's go ahead and listen to this clip. Might not listen to the whole thing. Maybe it's a couple minutes of it so you get the gist, bring out some prophecies, and Yahweh righteous, I mean, the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And by the way, fair use. Okay, don't make any money off these videos, just for educational purposes only. So let's go ahead and play.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. We're interrupting your regularly scheduled programming with breaking news. ABC News has learned that Israel has launched an attack on Iran, likely targeting Iran's nuclear sites. Tensions have been mounting in the region for several days. President Trump told reporters earlier today that it could happen at any time. We want to go right to Selena Wang, who is at the White House for us. Selena, what's the latest reporting?
Well, Lindsay, we don't have details on the size or the scope of this attack. But earlier today, I had asked President Trump just how imminent an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facility could be. And President Trump told me that it very well could happen. But he also stressed again that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon and made clear that he would prefer a diplomatic resolution to this. The president also said that last month he had warned Netanyahu not to launch such a strike. The president is concerned that this attack could actually derail ongoing U.S. and Iran negotiations. The president has been signaling for many weeks now that he believes the U.S. and Iran are close to a deal. But then just in recent days, the president has become less confident. But his envoy, Steve Witkoff, Lindsay, he is planning to travel to Oman for scheduled talks with his Iranian counterparts on Sunday. This is after multiple rounds of talks between the U.S. and Iran. The president today, as of just hours ago, still optimistic that an agreement could be reached. We'll see how this changes things.
Selena Wang from the White House, thank you. I want to go now to Marcus Moore in Tel Aviv, who's in a shelter there. Again, we just talked about these escalations and what it could potentially mean for these peace talks, which we were expecting to happen just days from now. Marcus, what are you learning?
Well, Lindsay, I can tell you that the tension has already, as you know, been high across the region. And just moments ago, the air raid sirens went off here in Tel Aviv, and there was an announcement on the loudspeaker here in the hotel where we're staying and working, and it urged everyone, the guests, to get to the shelter on their floor. And so that's where we are right now. Just to show you around just a little bit, you can see they have some supplies in here. There are cots, and guests have also joined in these shelters to try to get to a safe place. Because, Lindsay, the concern has been all along over any potential Israeli strike on Iran, that there would be a response. And so following what the Israelis have called a preemptive strike tonight here in the Middle East, in Iran, they soon after that sounded the alarms for anyone really across all of Israel to get to their bomb shelters, anticipating that there would be a response from Iran, and a response, Lindsay, that would be quite swift. And what we have heard from the Iranians is that if any of their locations were hit, whether they're nuclear or not, that they would respond in kind. And so that is why there's been so much concern here tonight.
And we are taking a live look at Jerusalem at this moment. Marcus Moore, thank you. Want to bring in.
Okay, we can stop it right there. We can pause it. So, okay, as you can see, tensions rising, escalating. Iran has pretty much promised to make a response, which they've already done. They've already started shooting missiles over into Tel Aviv. Okay, hey, as we always, bring out the precepts on this, man. This is, all leading up to World War III. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get some precepts on the board right quick. All right, the brother Raising the Elect 144. All right, he put up Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. All right, and it reads, it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, so what is that talking about? Okay, you had World War I, you had World War II, and then you have World War III, which is gonna be the final world's war. Okay, this will be the war to end all wars. All right, they got a saying in the world, they say that World War III will be fought with nuclear weapons, and World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Okay, meaning that what? Essentially that when World War III pops off and the nuclear missiles are shot off, that'll be it. Okay, that'll be the end of this world as we know it. All right, which we're looking forward to. Okay, let's get some precepts on that right quick. I'm gonna switch the tab out real fast. We'll go over to let's see. Let's go to the Blue Letter Bible. Okay, we're supposed to be looking forward to this time. All right, that's the reason why we're constantly watching these things. Seeing what's going on in the world. Okay, and we know that the creation state of Israel is going to be the ones to cause World War III to pop off. All right, in the scriptures, that area known as the Middle East, which is Northern Africa and Western Asia, all right, is it's known as the Valley of Decision, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, meaning the Heavenly Father's judgment. Okay, I'm going to start off here. All right, at verse 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Okay, so the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. That's going to be for the people who are not watching, because, all right, while we have war in the Middle East bubbling up, which a lot of people would argue that we've already entered into World War III. Okay, what is Jake doing? All right, Jake is singing and dancing, worried about Diddy. Okay, worried about all the different nonsense that's going on in the world. All right, we're us that are the hopefully elect, we're occupied on this. We're occupied on prophecy. Okay. It says, verse 10, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? All right. Okay, our manner of life. Okay, living holy. And so that word conversation means in the Greek, it's the word anastrophe. Okay, meaning a holy manner of life. That's how we're supposed to be living our life from day to day. All right, separate from the people of the world. Okay, obedient to the Heavenly Father. Why? Because, as it says in verse 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And how is this going to happen? By way of that third world's woe. Okay, World War III. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. So we look forward to this. Every time we see things escalate over there in the so-called Middle East, we know that we're one day closer. All right, and that things are coming up quick. All right, and we see all these different things happening right now, all at one time, simultaneously. Okay, so now's the time to be staying in the spirit as much as possible, being focused. It always has been, but even more so as we get closer and closer to that day. Okay, this is 2 Peter 3:14. It says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. All right. So there you go. Now let's go. Let's move on to another precept. And this one is out of the book of 2nd Ezra. Okay, it's going to give you some more insight on why we're looking forward to WW3, because you tell people that and they look at you like you got 3 heads. Okay. You know, most people in this society, they're not looking forward to this because they don't understand that when this time comes that the kingdom of heaven comes on the earth, okay, they think the kingdom of heaven is already here in America. All right. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 42. Then I'm hit the comment board after this. It says, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doeth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of the immortality for to come. The day of doom, which is the Third World War. Okay, nuclear missiles being shot off. And the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory. Okay, so this day of doom represents freedom, represents immortality, represents the destruction of a corrupt society. Okay, the destruction of all the lies. All right, all the wickedness that's been going on. It's all going to be done away with. All right, in that nuclear fire. Okay, so let's get some precepts on the board. All right, let's get this one from the brother Imraya. He put up Joel 3 verses 9 and 11. Okay, 9, 11, and Joel 3 verses 9 down to 13. Okay, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. It says, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. That's it. Okay, verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Okay, that's right. The society is full of wickedness, and as we brought out in 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, all right, it's going to be the end of all that wickedness when this Third World War finally, pops off in full effect. Okay, let's get this one, Isaiah 9 and 5 from the same brother. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, so most fights that wars that you think of in the old days would fall with swords and shields, bucklers, bow and arrows, hand-to-hand combat. All right, but this war is going to be fought with advanced technology, and eventually the grand finale of that being World War III, nuclear missiles being shot off. Okay, it's brother Zechariah 9 and 14 from the brother Raising the Elect 144. It says, and Yahweh shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and Yahweh shall blow the trumpet and shall go with the whirlwind to the south. Okay, and those arrows, a lot of times when it's talking about the arrows, it's talking about the nuclear missiles. Okay, it talked about how he, in Psalms the 7th chapter, how he has prepared his arrows against the persecutors that's going into the nuclear missiles. Okay, and the whirlwinds is talking about the chariots. All right, when the missiles are finally shut off, the chariots of the Lord are going to return, all right, to gather the elect and deliver them out of the destruction. It tells you that in Matthew 24, okay, verses 29 to 31. All right, let's get this one as well. The brother Imraya, Proverbs 22 and 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Okay, so where do you hide yourself at? Well, okay, first you hide yourself. Let's go ahead and let's get Psalms 91st chapter. Okay, first you hide yourself in the comforter, in the secret place of the Lord. Okay, Psalms chapter 91. Psalms chapter 91, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. Okay, it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. So you're supposed to abide in the secret place of the Almighty. Okay, that's where you hide yourself at, in this word, in the scriptures. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Oh, also, a brother could put up Proverbs 18:10, okay, because part of the secret place of the Lord is in his name. Okay, the refuge and the fortress, all right, goes into the name of the Lord. Okay, if a brother could put that up, Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 10. Okay, it says, verse 4, Psalms 91:4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Once again, his word, his truth. Okay, where do you get the truth from? You get it from his word. All right. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Psalms 91:5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Okay, that once again, we talk about the arrows and nuclear missiles. It says, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. It says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Okay, so people are going to be dropping everywhere from multiple different plagues on the earth, but those nuclear missiles, okay, the vast majority of people that are on the earth are going to get burned by those nuclear missiles. Okay, and that's not my words, that's pursuant to Isaiah the 24th chapter. Okay, which, I only got to get it. Isaiah 24 verses 3-6. It tells you the end result of this society is that the curse shall devour the earth, meaning the fire. All right, and that the inhabitants of the earth are burned and few men left. Okay, it's Isaiah 24:6. So let's keep reading. It says, Psalm 91:8, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, which is nuclear fire and worms. Okay, it says, because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. Once again, we hide ourselves within the word, within Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, within his name. It says, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Okay, there you go. So let's see the brother put it up. All right, Proverbs 18:10 from the brother Imrayah. Okay, and it reads, it says, the name of Yahweh is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. Okay, so that's this place of safety. All right, and okay, when Yahweh Shai returns, all right, he's going to give us a physical place of safety. Okay, Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. All right, and it reads, it's highlighted here, it says, come my people, enter thou into thy chambers, to the chambers of the chariots, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment until the indignation of Yahweh be overpassed. Okay, so that's the times that we're coming into, man. All right, we're coming into the indignation of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Now, once again, the reason why this is important, okay, this news clipping is because it's going to start off over there in what's known of as so-called Middle East. All right, starting off with the people over there calling themselves the Israelis. Okay, this is Jeremiah 49:20. It says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Edom is the people over there in the land, which I'm going to prove that next. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay, so the head tribe of Esau, all right, which is Amalek, okay, they're the ones that are over there in that land. It tells you in Ezekiel 36:5. Okay, we're going to come right back to this. It tells you in Ezekiel 36:5 that Esau, the Idumeans, would be in the land. Ezekiel 36:5 says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Okay, so Idumea, they're the ones that are over in the land right now, and they're causing a big ruckus because why? Because they want to pretty much take over the earth. Talking about the 1948ers, so they're causing all this chaos to try to set up their new world order. All right, and that's why it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. All right, the least of the flock, that creation state of Israel, is the smallest of all the Edomite nations, yet they cause the most trouble, and they're the ones that are ultimately going to lead the United States into World War III. All right, so Edom, the Edomites that are over there, they're going to be brought down to destruction by this nuclear war, and then also America, Babylon the Great, which is going to tell you is going to receive the same judgment. Okay, Jeremiah 50 and 45. All right. It says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon. Okay, we're talking about Babylon the Great, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock, the least of the Edomites shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So, same judgment. Okay, he's going to destroy the daughter of Babylon, which is, America, Babylon the Great, and then also he's going to destroy the Edomites that are over there in that Holy Land. Okay, claiming to be us. And the least of the flock, which once again, the smallest of the Edomite nations, is going to be the ones to draw everyone into World War III. And that's the time that we're coming into right now. Okay, so we'll get a few more precepts and get ready to wrap it up. I want to be something short. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. All right, I'm going to start at verse 1. Okay, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. And here's the point. Okay, verse 8, it says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What time do you think we're living in right now? Judging how you see the political landscape is, all throughout the earth. Okay, and Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbat. All right, to the brother Yasharala 144. Shalom. Hey, and that's through the spirit. The brother Imrayah got Ezekiel the 38th chapter. That's exactly where I was heading. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get that real quick, and we'll close it out there. But like I said, judging from what's going on, okay, in the world right now, all right, what did Yahushua said? He would say that you would see, wars, rumors of wars, uproars of the people, earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, we're seeing all these things. All right, and now what do we have coming up tomorrow? We have, the great stand against, fascism, essentially, is what it is. Okay, the great stand against, Donald Trump and his authoritarian regime that he's attempting to set up. All right, so okay, like I said, man, we could very well be in that time, and that's what it's looking like. Okay, I mean, we know that World War III is going to be the last and final war, right? And we see World War III bubbling up because, just like the scriptures say, okay, it's going to be between who? Russia, China, North Korea, Iran versus the Western nations, okay, and all other nations that join unto, Russia, China, North Korea, et cetera, et cetera. So, brother had it on the comment board already. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. The water to you, brother Imrayah. This is on Ezekiel 38, and I'm gonna start from the top of verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Okay, and that's talking about Russia. All right, as a matter of fact, okay, when you go into the blue letter for the words chief prince, all right, let's see, you get the word rush. Okay, Strong's G7218. All right, there you go. That's like the root word for the word Russia. All right, chief. Okay, rush, and the word for prince in the Hebrew is the word shar. Okay, like in the word Yasharala, he prince power. So you got the word chief here. Okay, rush, and then you have the word shar, Russia, the chief prince. All right, just wanted to show you guys that. But this is talking about Russia. Even the Christian scholars know that this is talking about Russia. And when you read the prophecies in Jeremiah 50th chapter, okay, about all the nations from the north country coming up to fight against Babylon. All right, well, it's talking about Russia. Russia is directly north of the land of Israel. Okay, number one. And number two, all right, we know that America is Babylon the Great in many various different ways. All right, but who are going to be the two main players in this great battle of World War III, the Battle of Armageddon? Okay, it's going to be Russia versus the United States. Russia, as we're about to read, has been the nation that has become a guard unto all these other nations, as we're about to read here. Okay, so this is Ezekiel 38:2. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. All right, verse 5, it says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Okay, who is Persia? That's Iran. Okay, so Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. It says of Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmer of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Salakia, one sec. Turn this TV down. Salakia. Okay. All right, I'm back. My bad. So, anyways, let me read that again. All right. The nations that are going to be joined up with Gog and Magog. Gog is the people, Magog is the land. It says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmer of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. And I forgot exactly who these nations are. I believe that Gomer might be Turkey. All right, I can't remember exactly, but anyways, continuing on, it says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So what have you been seeing going on in the world stage? You've been seeing Russia pretty much give nuclear capabilities to all these different nations on the earth, right? And then also, like as we're about to see, okay, Iran and the creation state of Israel going back and forth, and now you have Russia, China, I believe North Korea, which is also an ally with Russia and China, has just said that they're going to intervene. That pretty much they're going to jump in on the side of Iran. Okay, so the stage is being set for World War III. Okay, and what's going to end up happening is, like I said before, all these nations are going to be joined together, all right, under the banner of Russia and go up against Babylon the Great. Okay, and that's how this World War III is going to start. But what the Israelis are doing is exacerbating the situation, making it happen much faster. Okay, because most of the world is not cool with what the Israelis are doing. The only ones that are really on board with it are Edomite Americans. Okay, so this is what's going to pull us into World War III. So we're looking forward to it, man. We're living in, as we always say, we're living in some of the best times and the worst times to be alive, because okay, we're going to see the Lord perform miracles. We're going to see, the greatest war to ever have taken place in all of history, the War of Armageddon. All right, and then also the greatest deliverance as well. Okay, so just wanted to update you guys on what's going on in the world right now. They're doing live updates right now, actually, as I speak. So, matter of fact, I'll pull up some of those articles. I got some pulled up already. Read a little bit, and then we'll close it out. All right. So this is a reporting from The Guardian. See if I can close this right quick. This advertisement up here. Maybe I'm not able to. That's all right. So hang on. Let me see. Hopefully it'll close. Okay, it's take up half the screen. Anyways, it is what it is. So The Guardian, all right, it says Israel embraces for new waves of Iranian missiles as UN ambassador says 78 killed and 320 wounded in the Israeli strikes. All right, the update is 6 minutes ago. Says the death toll comes amid Israel's attack across Iran that hit dozens of targets, including nuclear facilities. Iranian missiles hit Tel Aviv as Netanyahu warns attack on Iran is just the beginning. So he's the aggressor. Okay, he is the aggressor. And let me see if I can find, I know that it said that different military officials, different military officials from Iran were deleted, different top scientists and all that. I got another article pulled up, so maybe if it'll show us on that one. This one is from this article is from the New York Times. Okay, live updates, updated 26 minutes ago. All right, fair use. It says Iranian missiles hit Tel Aviv after Israeli strikes on nuclear sites. It says the retaliatory strikes came after Israel attacked Iran, killing top military leaders and scientists. The assault destroyed an above-ground nuclear enrichment plant near Natanz, the head of the UN nuclear watchdog agency said. Okay, there's a video. All right, I'm just going to read the caption on it. It said, Iran fired ballistic missiles that struck at least 7 sites around Tel Aviv on Friday, injuring dozens of Israelis. The move was a retaliation to the Israeli attacks on Iranian nuclear sites and military leaders. Okay, so I guess Iranian missiles did hit some people and did injure certain of the 1948ers. Okay, but so we see, like I said, it's going up. All right, it's going up. I'm going to read this last little portion and we'll close it out. Okay, it says Iranian ballistic missiles struck at least 7 sites around Tel Aviv on Friday night, hours after waves of Israeli strikes devastated Tehran's military chain of command and hit critical nuclear facilities. Attacks continued on Saturday morning, with Iran reporting dozens of people killed and Israel reporting about 20 people wounded, some seriously. Missiles and drones flew in both directions as Israel said its military campaign, called Rising Lion, would continue for days, if not longer. Iran said its response was not over. So they're about to go head up with each other. Okay. They're about to go head up with each other. And, of course, you have Trump. He was in the works of trying to come up with some kind of nuclear deal between United States and Iran. That's not going to happen because he wants Iran to get rid of the nuclear missiles. And they're not going to do that. All right. And if they try to force the issue, then Russia's just going to jump in and you got World War III right there. And really the only thing that's stopping this from happening, the only thing that's really stopping this from happening is that the RFID microchip has not happened yet, okay? Because there's certain prophecies that have to come to pass before the missiles are shot off and completely destroy Babylon the Great and various parts of the earth. All right, but this is what we're seeing being played out. All right, let's get this precept off the board. Yasharallah 144. Put up Isaiah 13, okay, verses 4 and 5. All right, it says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of the nations gather together. Yahweh, power of hosts, mustereth the host of the battle. It says, verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, talking about these missiles, even Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Okay, that's it. That's it, man. All right, so it's all leading up to that point. Okay, and like the brother said right here, all right, we almost up out of here, man. This is it. So, hey, keep being occupied in prophecy, staying prayed up, and hey, keeping our conversation holy, as the scriptures say. Yahweh righteous out, man. So I'm gonna close it out there. All right, Heavenly Father's will. It was edifying. Okay, that being said, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rash. Next level honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety. All you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what people hear or what they forbear. All right, the water to you, Akim, for tuning in. The water for the precepts on the board, the skillful adding. And until next time, shalom and abide the ball.